Hi everyone, my name is Tom Ablum. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sonaris, and I'm here to introduce the first fully automated ultrasound scan. Sonaris was founded by a group of biomedical engineers from the Technion, the Israel Institute of Technology, and received our first funding from the Israel Innovation Authority and the MindUp Incubator in Israel. We've also led some senior executives to our leadership, including the former global CTO of GE Ultrasound and the chief vascular surgery at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. So let's talk a little bit about ultrasound. Ultrasound, as you all may know, is one of the leading tools for primary screening and diagnostics of many conditions, including cardiac, pulmonary, and vascular disease, because it's safer and non-invasive and more affordable and portable than a CT or an MRI scan. But still, while the ultrasound device has evolved over the years, become cheaper, smaller, and faster, the way that we have to use it in order to scan a patient remains relatively the same and highly manual. It requires an expert technician, which is a sonographer, to manually hold the ultrasound probe, find the correct position and orientation on the patient while they look at the image in real time as feedback to understand when they're in the right location to capture images for diagnosis. And putting into the context of the workflow, so usually in most places, most countries, a patient requires a referral from their physician to get an ultrasound scan. They have to book an appointment with an imaging center or a hospital where they have a sonographer who will scan them, and then a radiologist will later diagnose them based on those images. And this complex and manual process leads to several consequences. It will delay the diagnosis of patients by an average of over 2 weeks, sometimes even over a month, because of availability issues and waiting times for sonographers' availability and for device availability. It prevents access to care for patients who do not live nearby a hospital or an imaging facility. And actually, it yields an inconsistent image quality because it really depends on the expertise and the training of the operator, of the user, to get the right kind of image. So we see a lot of inconsistency in quality. And we are solving these issues by using technology, by creating what we call an AI sonographer. So with our technology, you could provide an ultrasound scan without being an expert, without a technician. And what we do is to mimic what they do with two things. First of all, instead of the hand that moves the probe around and finds the correct location, we can automatically control the ultrasound sensor's position using mechanical and electronic components that guide it to a specific location. And instead of the vision of the user that has to look at the image in real time, we can use computer vision, and specifically a neural network that we can train to automatically detect the object of the blood vessel that we want to target. And this is able to guide the ultrasound to the right spot automatically in real time. When you combine these two together, you get a fairly easy process of use. Basically, all the user has to do with our product is place it on the patient in the area where they want to provide the scan and select the test, select the scan that they want to perform from the app. In this case, we'll see an abdominal scan to find the abdominal aorta. And what our device does then, it will look for the abdominal aorta automatically and will detect it using our machine learning-based algorithms that will guide the ultrasound to the right place, scan the right images, and capture them for diagnosis. Then it will be able to upload the images to the cloud for online diagnosis. It could be AI-based diagnosis and also remotely validated by a radiologist who can verify the diagnosis clinically before the report is sent back through the system. So all in all, what we provide generally is an automated ultrasound screening process where the scan can take place anywhere. It could be a primary care outpatient clinic, minute clinic, or even a health kiosk or a pharmacy booth. And it could be operated by a nurse or a physician assistant, or in the future, even by the patient themselves. And the scans, as I said, are uploaded to the cloud and analyzed automatically and then double-checked, verified by a radiologist if needed. So what we offer providers is basically reduction of costs and time of scanning with ultrasound, because we don't require having a physician or a sonographer on board. We can have reliable, consistent imaging that is fully automated and standardized and is not reliant or dependent on who the user is and how they operate it. And most importantly, we make the ultrasound scan available and accessible in any setting. Our first focus is on screening tests that are widely important and have been established and have reimbursement already in many countries, including the US and UK and other European countries as well. For instance, screening for abdominal aortic aneurysm, or AAA, which is a vital condition that is recommended and reimbursed for screening every man over 65 for this life-threatening condition, and ultrasound is the gold standard for that. Thyroid nodules cancer screening and other indications that you can see here are all important to screen in the population for early detection and prevention. If you sum these up, for instance, in the US market, you can see the number of scans that potentially we can perform in this population and are being performed today, and the current reimbursement that's given for them, amounting to over $1 billion annually in revenue just for this market alone. And the reimbursement here is key because the business model that we work with relies on that. We don't sell a medical device. We don't sell an ultrasound device. We're not an ultrasound device company in that sense. We provide a service. And for every scan that our customers can perform and get reimbursement for, we can collect a fee out of that revenue as a percentage of what they get. So it's a win-win situation. We've been able to clinically validate our technology in one of the leading hospitals in Israel. We've tested our product and compared that to manual scans performed by technicians, skilled technicians, and showed two different things. First, that our device was able to always capture the right images for diagnosis in all patients. And second, that it was able to go a step further and actually measure clinical parameters with very good comparison to the measurements that were done by the technicians. We're currently raising funds for the next step of getting the regulatory clearance. In the US, it will be a 510K process as a Class 2 device with many ultrasound predicate devices, and hoping to launch it in the market in 2021. For that, as I said, we're now raising funds and also looking for strategic partners who will be able to help us get into the market through their existing channels. And with that, I'd like to end and invite you to join us in this journey to make ultrasound something of the 21st century. And feel free to ask many questions. Thank you.